They should have traded Anthony Davis this summer, and they should trade him now. Every day that goes by, you get closer to the end of Anthony Davis's contract. He's already in his early to mid-30s. He already has a bunch of injury issues.
What if one of the most dominant big men in basketball could flip the entire NBA playoff picture overnight? But staying healthy is the gamble that scares everyone across the league. This video breaks down why Anthony Davis's time in Dallas could possibly be coming to an end, despite his undeniable talent and impact on the floor. It explores the pressure building behind the scenes and which franchises could benefit most from trading for him. Every possible destination comes with massive upside, but also serious risk. By the end of this video, viewers will understand why Anthony Davis is still viewed as a franchise-altering player, and why the right situation could turn a risky trade into a championship-defining move. Why does a player this talented always feel one decision away from being traded? When Anthony Davis is healthy, he is one of the most complete players in the NBA. He protects the rim at an elite level, switches onto guards, dominates the glass, and scores efficiently in the paint and mid-range. He does all of this without needing the offense to revolve entirely around him. Very few players can impact both sides of the floor the way he does. His presence alone forces opposing teams to adjust how they attack, often settling for tougher shots and uncomfortable possessions. The problem has never been ability. The problem has always been availability. In today's NBA, teams are judged by postseason success. Front offices must plan months ahead. When a superstar carries health uncertainty, it forces constant conversations about direction, flexibility, and long-term stability. Anthony Davis is never questioned for how good he is. He is questioned for how often teams can depend on that greatness. So if the risk is obvious, why would any team still take the chance? Because players who can do what Anthony Davis does are incredibly rare. He does not need the ball every possession to control a game. His impact shows up in defensive stops, altered shots, second chance points, and momentum-shifting plays that never fully appear in box scores. Opposing teams change their entire offensive approach simply because he is on the floor. That level of influence is difficult to replace. Many front offices believe injuries are tied to workload, role, and environment. Teams with deeper rotations and smarter minute management believe they can protect Davis better across a long season. There's also the playoff factor. In the postseason, rotations shrink, and defense matters more than ever. For true contenders, Anthony Davis is not about playing every game. He is about winning the most important ones. What if one defensive star could fix years of playoff frustration? The Atlanta Hawks have offensive talent, but defense has consistently been their weakness when games slow down. Playoff basketball exposes gaps quickly, and Atlanta has struggled to get stops when it matters. Anthony Davis would instantly change that identity. He would become the defensive backbone from day one. Rim protection improves, help defense tightens. Rebounding stabilizes late in games. Offensively, Davis would not need to force shots. His scoring would come naturally through mismatches, pick-and-roll action, and second-chance opportunities. For Atlanta, Anthony Davis would not be a luxury addition. He would be the foundation they have been missing. What happens when elite defense finally gets real rim protection? The Miami Heat are known for structure, conditioning, and accountability. Their system demands effort while protecting players within defined roles. If Anthony Davis arrived in Miami, it would immediately change the defensive balance. For years, Bam Adebayo has been asked to do everything defensively. Adding Davis would take pressure off Bam by giving Miami a true, natural rim protector. With Davis anchoring the paint, Bam could focus more on switching, perimeter defense, and playmaking. That pairing would give Miami defensive flexibility it has never truly had. In Miami, Anthony Davis would not just help the defense, he would unlock everyone else. What if the Warriors finally had a real rim protector? The Golden State Warriors thrive on movement, spacing, and basketball IQ, but one weakness has followed them for years. They do not have a true, reliable big man who can consistently protect the rim. Golden State often relies on smaller lineups and team defense. That approach works at times, but it becomes a serious issue against physical teams in the playoffs. Anthony Davis would immediately solve that problem. He would give the Warriors a real interior presence who can block shots, deter drives, and control the paint without disrupting their system. For Golden State, Anthony Davis would not just add defense. He would give them something they have been missing for years. What if the Suns finally had a true defensive anchor? The Phoenix Suns have elite scoring, star power, and playoff expectations. But one issue continues to show up when games slow down. They do not have a consistent, high-level rim protector. Phoenix often relies on outscoring opponents and using team defense in the paint. That can work in the regular season, but it becomes a problem against physical teams and elite bigs in the playoffs. Anthony Davis would immediately change that dynamic. He would give the Suns real rim protection, defensive rebounding, and a presence that allows perimeter defenders to stay aggressive. Instead of constantly helping inside, wings could stay home on shooters, knowing the paint is protected. Offensively, Davis would not need to take touches away from star scorers. He would score efficiently around the basket, clean up misses, and punish mismatches without stopping the flow of the offense. For Phoenix, Anthony Davis would not be about scoring more. He would be about surviving the playoffs. So what is the downside that teams cannot ignore? The injuries are real. Any team trading for Anthony Davis accepts uncertainty immediately. There will be missed games and careful health management. But championships are built on calculated risks. Every title run involves betting on timing, health, and chemistry aligning at the right moment. Anthony Davis is the kind of risk that can end a season early or end it holding a trophy. Anthony Davis remains one of the most impactful players in the NBA. His health will always be debated, but his ability is undeniable. When he is on the floor, he changes defensive schemes, alters shot selection, and forces opponents to rethink everything they want to do. That is why, even with the risk, teams are still watching his situation closely. If his time in Dallas does come to an end, it will not be because teams stopped believing in his talent. It will be because the margin for error is small in a win-now league, and every decision carries long-term consequences. For the right franchise, in the right system, with the right expectations, trading for Anthony Davis would not just be a gamble, it would be a statement. Because when Anthony Davis is right, he does not just help teams win, he decides seasons.